and it's a Charizard in the back. Nihilego comes in all excited, only to realize it's a Dragon Breath variant. What does that mean? It means Nihilego can only win this in the 0 shields. What is going on, everyone? Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon GO content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Tade Dude, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some battles in the Open Ultra League featuring an Ultra Beast, and it is a spicy one, Nihilego. Nihilego is a rock poison type, and it is ranked at number 510 on PvPoke out of an eligible 562 ranked Pokemon. So right off the bat, I can tell you this Pokemon is going to be very difficult to run, and the main reason is because of its fast moves having access to only Acid or Pound. As a result of how bad this Pokemon actually is, I did have some trouble in building a team around it, and in the end, the only team that seemed to perform somewhat consistently was the classic Trevenant and Walrein core. And as you can imagine, a lot of these battles are going to be hard carries from one of those two Pokemon picking up the slack for Nihilego. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really helps the channel grow, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. So some of you may be thinking that Nihilego with the right alignment could actually perform pretty well. Unfortunately, Nihilego has very few Pokemon that it actually enjoys being aligned to. Unless you're going up against a Fire, Fairy, or some Flying types, Nihilego really gets destroyed. And hopefully this video will help to showcase just how difficult it is to run Nihilego in the Open Ultra League. Jumping into this first battle, we have a positive lead, Trevenant into Escavalier. The opponent swaps out into Charizard, and here comes Nihilego up against a Fire Spin Charizard. So this is actually one of the best case scenarios for Nihilego, going to no shield the first move, and as you can see, it's doing pretty well right here, but Acid is so slow at generating energy. Charizard is going to outpace us, and believe it or not, despite being a rock type, we are actually going to lose in the 2 shields to Charizard. I think that alone says enough about just how bad Nihilego actually is, but in this particular case, the opponent does not decide to play for switch and swaps out instead to catch this Rock Slide onto Escavalier. We left with a Shadow Ball, so going to throw that right now. The opponent does decide to shield up, which tells me they're probably setting up for a Mega Horn. I am going to respect it and shield up right here, commit to the Shadow Claw down since they are switch locked. Charizard comes back in, just going to take it out here with the Shadow Ball, find out what they have left in the back. It's a Swampert, they don't want the smoke, and we are off to a 1-0 start here with Nihilego. So I think that last battle was a good example of just how challenging it is to use Nihilego. Even when aligned against a Fire Spin Charizard, we do end up losing in the 2 shields, so not going to be easy. But Trevenant vs Swampert is just about as good as it gets in the lead spot. Opponent swaps out into Alolan Muck, and we are going to bring in the Walrein. Decided to no shield the first move in case it is an Acid Spray. Also going to no shield the second one, and building up towards the Earthquake. Now when they throw the Acid Spray, it would make sense for them to probably shield this up, so I think going straight Icicle Spear is probably the better play at this point, but we're still in a decent position here. I will shield up now that our defense has been dropped, and the opponent swaps out into a Machamp. So we are going to throw the Icicle Spear, swap out into Nihilego, and even with that chip damage, this is still a pretty rough matchup here for Nihilego. As you can see, we are taking neutral damage here because of that rock poison typing, but we are going to try and farm this Machamp all the way down using only Acid. Unfortunately, it is a Swampert that comes in, and Swampert is one of the hardest walls to Nihilego, so neither of our moves are doing any damage right here. Opponent does make a great swap catching this Seed Bomb onto the Muck, but we swap out into Walrein with an Icicle Spear ready to go. That's going to force the final shield from the opponent, and at this point I feel comfortable just letting the Walrein go down. Trevenant will come back in. Alolan Muck actually is in a Seed Bomb range, so one Seed Bomb will take it out. Swampert will come back in, and Trevenant, once again, with the hard carry for Nihilego, able to take this game, but not before the opponent closes the app first. They don't want the smoke. 2-0 with Nihilego. Let's hop into battle number 3. So thus far in these battles, we've been seeing some pretty positive leads for Trevenant. That in turn has allowed Nihilego to have a bit more play, but this right here is not a great lead for Trevenant to see. So we're actually going to swap out into Nihilego. First battle utilizing it as a safe switch, and we get met by a Trevenant. Now this would seem like a somewhat neutral matchup, but Nihilego actually loses it pretty hard, in large part because Acid is so slow at generating energy. Trevenant is going to outpace, but fortunately for us, we do pick up a shield, so even though we are going to lose switch, we at least take a shield advantage out of that, and we could come in now with the Walrein. I am going to no shield the Seed Bomb here, saving my shields instead for the Talonflame. So we're going to throw the Icicle Spear. This will take out Trevenant, and if Talonflame comes back in, we will need to have perfect timing throughout this match. Cannot allow any Incinerates to sneak through. We are going to shield up the first Flame Charge, throw this first Icicle Spear. I expect the Talonflame to start shielding up at some point. We are going to be able to reach another 2 Icicle Spears right here. Hopefully that will be enough to take out the Talonflame. Going to use our second shield right here, and we are able to reach the Icicle Spear. After this, we are going to swap out into the Trevenant, and the opponent comes in with a Giratina altered. Now normally this would actually be a pretty rough matchup in these 0 shields, but because they are actually running Dragon Breath, Trevenant is going to be able to pull this off. And since Shadow Claw is a 2-turn move, it's going to register before the Incinerate comes through, which means we are able to take that game. 3-0 heading into battle number 4. And let's see what we have in the lead for Trevenant this time. It is going to be the big boy Snorlax. Very challenging lead. We are going to swap out into Nihilego, and here comes the Swampert. So this is a pretty good example of why you would not want to utilize Nihilego as a safe switch. There are a lot of things that counter it, and Swampert is definitely one of them. But fortunately for us, it seemed like the opponent was not aware of the moveset of Nihilego, and possibly feared that we do learn a grass type move. So we end up taking a shield out of a very bad matchup. And like we saw in the previous battle, that could be all we need in order to flip this matchup. So Swampert goes down, Snorlax comes back in. We are taking super effective damage from these licks, but more often than not, Snorlax is running Body Slam plus Superpower in the Ultra League, so we don't need to be too fearful of the charged moves coming from Snorlax. Because of that, I'm actually going to stay in for a bit, throwing a couple of Seed Bombs before deciding to swap out into the Walrein. Going to throw the Icicle Spear as soon as we reach it, and when the opponent actually decides to shield up right here, I was anticipating a potential superpower, so I am going to shield up the first move right here. Actually paused for a split second before clicking the Icicle Spear just to ensure that they were not swapping out. Venusaur in the back, not exactly the most dominant matchup for Walrein, however, with a shield advantage, it is. And that's where getting that shield earlier in the Nihilego versus Swampert matchup ends up making a huge difference in this battle. And obviously, I feel we benefited from the opponent not knowing the moveset there. More often than not, we are going to end up losing this matchup as a result of the opponent not using the shield, but in this particular case, we'll take it. So we are actually 4-0 heading into the 5th battle of set number 1, and Scrafty in the lead makes it 3 negative leads for this set, and this is one of the more challenging ones to see because we don't have a great answer to it in the back. So I'm actually going to stay in here hoping they go for a power up punch bait, but if it is a foul play, which it is, we are going to swap out into the Nihilego. The opponent does decide to stay in and dump some energy right here. This is actually very good news for us, and they swap out into Dragalge. Now Dragalge is a pretty bad matchup for Nihilego, of course, but it's a pretty solid matchup for Walrein. So this actually isn't the worst thing for us to see. Aqua Tail is going to take us out, but we can now come back in with the Walrein, and we have one of 2 options here. Throw the Icicle Spear before they reach a move, or commit to the complete farm down. Instead, I get greedy and end up CMP tying on the Outrage instead, which is the worst case scenario and potentially takes away our only remaining win con. So the opponent swaps out into Scrafty knowing we don't have a great answer to it. My plan here is to throw back-to-back Icicle Spears and ideally catch a power-up punch onto the Trevenant, but the swap was a bit early and this could potentially be a foul play. So I am going to shield this up. The hope here is that Seed Bomb will be enough to take out the Scrafty. It ends up falling a little bit short, but this actually benefits us even more. So in this moment, I felt the only win con was to land a Shadow Ball and then reach an Earthquake on the Walrein. Ninetales takes us out before the Shadow Ball is reached. We could have got off a Seed Bomb, but I do not believe a Seed Bomb plus Earthquake would be enough to take out the Ninetales. Opponent tried catching the move onto Dragalge, was expecting that, but Earthquake, not enough to KO. Don't think it's in Seed Bomb range right there. Shadow Ball definitely would have been enough, but if it turns out I'm wrong and Seed Bomb actually was enough, we'll just call it another Harry Maguire play. Overall, we went 4-1 with this team in the first set of battles. That seems better than expected. Is it a fluke? We'll have to find out in set number 2. So I think that first set of battles provided a good mix of matchups for Nihilego. We saw some positive ones, we saw some very negative ones. But let's see how the team performs in set number 2. Jumping into the first battle, we are leading Trevenant into a Shadow Walrein. This is a very tough lead, so we're going to swap out into our own Walrein. We don't necessarily have a great answer for an opposing Walrein, but since they are choosing to stay in, I'm actually going to shield up here hoping it is an Earthquake, anticipating that they don't have a great answer for our own Walrein. They allow that Earthquake to go through and swap out into Tapu Fini. This is not a particularly good answer to Walrein, and the switch timers are desynced. So at some point we are going to want to come back in with the Trevenant. Once the opponent shows us that they are running Moonblast, it's pretty safe to assume that they are not running Ice Beam, which means that Trevenant is going to be in a pretty good spot. So what I want to do here is build up to the Earthquake, swap out into Trevenant while banking that energy for later, and then tanking whatever move comes from Tapu Fini. After having tanked that Moonblast, I build up to 2 Seed Bombs. The first one takes out Tapu Fini. The second one will hopefully force a shield from the Walrein, at which point we will allow Trevenant to go down, come back in with the Walrein with that Earthquake stored from earlier. Opponent has a decision to make, decides to let it go through, and it's a Charizard in the back. Nihilego comes in all excited, only to realize it's a Dragon Breath variant. What does that mean? It means Nihilego can only win this in the 0 shields. And since Charizard has a shield remaining, Nihilego's going to lose. Acid is really holding this Pokemon back, and it looks like it's going to be the difference in this battle, except for the fact that this Walrein has 1 HP and a Drain. Icicle Spear coming through for the bang, there it is. Walrein out here looking like Steph Curry in the 4th quarter of Game 4 NBA Finals, putting this team on his back and taking out Charizard for the big win. Let's jump into the next battle. We have a Togekiss in the lead. We have 2 good answers here in both Nihilego and Walrein. Decide to swap out into the Nihilego, and the opponent responds with a Walrein. Now Walrein is going to win this matchup pretty comfortably, so we're just going to go for the Rock Slide right here. That actually forces a shield from the opponent, and at this point I'm going to no shield. Earthquake of course will take us out, but even if they bait us, they're still going to outpace us to the next move, so there's no point shielding right here. Just take the shield advantage and come in with our own Walrein. A big shield call right here on the Earthquake from the opponent, going to build up to our own Earthquake right here. Let's see if the opponent wants to shield up. They let that go through, so this puts the opponent more or less in Icicle Spear range. We are going to allow this Earthquake to go through, preserving that shield, building up to just about 100 energy, throwing the Icicle Spear. Opponent hangs on with 1 HP and swaps out into Machamp, which means they are now switch locked. So we throw the Icicle Spear, swap out into Trevenant, and this is too early to be a payback. So once again, going to no shield, overfarm a little bit past the Seed Bomb, and this should be enough to take out the Machamp. At this point, Togekiss will likely come back in. We are going to build up towards the Shadow Ball, either force the final shield or deal heavy damage. If they shield this up, Walrein should be able to finish off this battle here. We have an Icicle Spear stored from earlier. This is not going to KO, but able to Powder Snow down. Opponent still has energy stored from earlier, but we still have a shield, so we are going to shield this up. And Walrein once again closing out the game. 2-0 start here in set number 2. Things are looking pretty good thus far. So jumping into the next battle, we are leading Trevenant into another Walrein. So we are seeing quite a few negative leads right here. Swapping out into our own Walrein, the opponent is choosing to stay in. We're actually able to sneak in the extra powder snow right here. That could be huge. Going to no shield the earthquake and then throw our own. We'll see if the opponent wants to shield or also let the earthquake go through. At this point, if we are ahead on energy, they could potentially think this is only an Icicle spear. Bang! No, it's not. Earthquake almost takes them out. And if we were ahead on energy, that could only be an Icicle spear from the opponent. Huge turn of events right there. We end up taking switch, and it is a Swampert that comes in. Now at this point, we're pretty much forced to stay in here because we don't want to swap out and potentially have Nihilego aligned onto the Swampert at some point in this battle. So just allow the Walrein to go down, come in with the wall, which is actually a tree in the form of Trevenant, and the opponent swaps out into Giratina Altered. Now this presents an issue. Nihilego pretty much loses to both of these Pokemon in the back for the opponent. So it's time to put on the Carlo Ancelotti hat and pull out the big plays, starting with the Seed Bomb bait that gets the shield. Shadow Ball now gets the second shield, and here comes the sacrificial squid, Ultra Beast, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much useless in this matchup. Nihilego going to tank this Dragon Claw right here. Opponent swaps out into Swampert. This is great. We will allow this to go down now, and Trevenant will come back in. I'm actually going to shield this up, commit to the complete Shadow Claw down, and that should give us the perfect amount of farm to take this Giratina back behind the barn and put it to sleep with that big Shadow Bang! There it is. Shiny Giratina being served up on a plate tonight. Barbecue at the Ox Barn, everyone's invited. This team is 3-0 in set number 2. Can we pull off the 5-0? Let's hop into the next one. Trevenant into Ferrothorn, pretty solid matchup right here. Going to no shield this first move. It is the mirror shot, and the opponent swaps out into Dragalge. We are banking a bunch of energy and coming in with a pretty hard counter in the form of Walrein. Going to tank this move coming here from the Dragalge. Most likely going to be an Outrage, and we are going to throw an Icicle Spear before they reach the Aqua Tail. This is going to take out Dragalge, and Ferrothorn will come back in. We will be able to get off one Icicle Spear before the Ferrothorn commits to the Bullet Seed farm. Trevenant will come back in here. The opponent has already shown Mirror Shot, so it's most likely Mirror Shot plus Power Whip. They are trying to lower our attack right here, going for another Mirror Shot. Once again, no shielding, and Talonflame comes in. We're basically at 100 energy on the Trevenant, and Nihilego is in pretty much its best possible matchup right here. I think shielding the first Flame Charge is definitely a mistake, but it is what it is. Rock Slide is going to force the opponent's first shield. One more Flame Charge about to come through, going to no shield. Flame Charge doing absolutely nothing to the Rock type. Rock Slide coming through, opponent is going to double shield. This is perfectly fine because now we come in with the Trevenant, throw the Shadow Ball. Oh wait, what the heck is this? Clicking on the wrong move, out here making all the wrong decisions like Russell Westbrook on the Lakers. And that is a very painful way for the win streak to come to an end. 3-1. Hopping into battle number 5. Let's see if we could bounce back. Pretty solid lead right here. Trevenant into Surf Fetched. Opponent is choosing to stay in, so they likely are running Night Slash. I'm actually going to shield up the first move right here. You can make the argument this is a mistake in case they do get the boost, but Night Slash does still hurt. Going for the Seed Bomb right here, and then going to catch the second Night Slash onto Nihilego, doing what it does best, Sacrificial Swap. Umbreon comes in, and this is a pretty difficult Pokemon for our team to deal with. So Foul Play comes through. We will probably only get off one move right here, so going for the Sludge Bomb. I believe it's actually less energy efficient, but I think it does slightly more damage. So Sludge Bomb it is. Foul Play takes us out, and now we're forced to come in with the Walrein. So Umbreon, obviously a very bulky Pokemon, it's also very spammy, so Walrein is going to have to take a couple of foul plays right here. Looking to overfarm quite a bit. We are at 2.5 Icicle Spears at this point. Another foul play comes through, so we're actually going to look to overfarm a bit more before getting rid of this Umbreon, and then we'll have to see what the opponent wants to come in with. The Surf Fetched is dry on energy, but I don't want to take any more damage onto Walrein, so I just throw this Icicle Spear immediately. Surf Fetched goes down, and Pidgeot is the absolute worst thing to see in the back, because Walrein, although it's going to force both shields, does not have the HP necessary to withstand this wrath that is about to come from the Pidgeot onto Trevenant. This is the absolute nightmare for Trevenant to see. I know they're going for a Feather Dance, so I feel obliged to not shield, but I think regardless of what happens, this game is unwinnable. Walrein, unfortunately, not able to pull off the Steph Curry performance we needed in this one, and after a 3-0 start, we are going to finish this set 3-2. So hopefully this video gave you a rough idea, no pun intended, of what it's like to run Nihilego in the Ultra League. Obviously it's ranked so low for a reason, and until it receives a better move, that's how it's going to remain. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below, and if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.